This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century. Greetings, boys and girls, scholars and laymen. Welcome to another wonderful, entertaining, edutaining edition of The Art of His Thinks. I'm your host for this empowerment segment, Brother Ron, also known as R2, C2, H2, The Art of His. Yes, I want to talk to you about the Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. That's Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. If you was living under a hill, you would know that he was fired as a CNN commentator on his off day. He's like Craig from Friday. He was fired on his off day. There's another Philly homie. Where's my homies? But he was fired on his off day when he spoke about the Palestinian plight in Israel, because it's Israel. It's Israel and Israel. You know what I mean? But he spoke about that, and he talked about his solidarity with the Palestinians, free them all. And he said something in his speech that really got him labeled as anti-Semitic, which led to his termination on his off day from CNN, which led from, I guess, fake outrage from pro-Israel camps. And I haven't really said anything. I mean, like, this social media thing is amazing to me, because everybody got an opinion. Like, everybody got a what, so everybody got an opinion. And sometimes I have listened to everybody's opinion. I just sit back and take it all in. Sometimes I don't really know my place in the whole thing. Like, people say, well, Ron, what do you think about this? I said, well, does it really make a difference? It's just my opinion. But yeah, so I got access to this stuff for the time being. Why not tell my opinion? It's interesting that they got rid of Marc Lamont Hill over stuff that was not, I would not consider what he said was anti-Semitic. I consider what he said was the truth of the situation. But you living in an age now where black people don't have any say. We're just like children. We're in a phase of arrested development, and true arrested development, because black folk are not allowed to have opinions or to become grown in the system of white mediocrity. We must always stay in a childlike state where we cannot be in control of our own self-determination and destiny. It's kind of like the situation in Palestine, where these people are not allowed to be in control of their own destiny or to have any sense of self-determination, because only in the system of white mediocrity are the pink people, the pale faces, the so-called white people, the ghost people, are allowed to have any say in anything that looks like a semblance to self-determination or manifest destiny. So this is what we're going to talk about right now. And I also want to educate and illuminate. Y'all talking about Illuminati. It means to enlighten, y'all. Black folks need Illuminati. We need to be enlightened. About the situations going on with our people right now, because we are SOS, state of emergency. But let me just say this. Only in a system built on lies and deception is the truth seen as hate speech. Only in a system built on lies and deception is the truth seen as hate speech. And if you got a thought, that is honest, that is full of substance, that can provoke thought and even action, you are an enemy of the state. So Dr. Marc Lamont Hill lost his job over BS. Knee-jerk reaction. He even got the chairman of the board at Temple, whatever chairman of the board he is at Temple, calling for his head on a pike to terminate his contract. Even though he's a tenured professor, they want to terminate his contract with the school. Although he was speaking on his off day as an individual of his own point of view. He was not saying that he was at the UN being pro-Palestinian on behalf of Temple University or CNN. He was speaking on the behalf of Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. And in a lynch mob mentality that we live in today, the truth only makes the fire hotter and brighter. So he tried to defend himself the best he could on social media, but you know, you can't deal with people that that never really dealt with you in a reasonable sort of way. Black folks spend too much time, we spend too much of our lifetimes trying to deal with certain folks and entities that do not deal with you in a very reasonable or rational manner. It's probably the reason why so many of us are so religious, because you just don't understand. Lord Jesus, help me. I don't understand, Lord. Lord, have mercy. But also we spend a lot of times, how can you beg the devil for mercy when the devil is not qualified to give you mercy? The devil is only qualified to give you more hell. So, I mean, black people gotta understand, you don't have no friends if you can't be a friend to yourself. We always looking for allies. The best ally is me, myself, and I. You gotta depend on you to get yourself through some of these things. You gotta be the savior you've been praying and waiting on. Like Frederick Douglass said, his prayers were not answered until he started praying with his legs. He prayed for 20 years, but his prayers were not answered until he started praying with his legs. So you got to be able to advocate for yourself, become your favorite and greatest action hero and advocate. But Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, Dr. Hill, he found out he really had no friends or no organization that could advocate for him. Even the folks he advocated for, they not really standing up for him. Like somebody that made a point, one of the key organizations involved in the UN Palestine Day, I think there was a Palestine Day they call it, did not even retweet what he said on their behalf. So really, you sacrifice yourself for the wrong cause, my friend. And black folks are the only people, I believe, that feel obligated to be sacrificed for everybody else's cause, but leave our cause on the sidelines. We'll die for everybody else, but we won't die for ourselves. Like some of the best soldiers have been black people. Yeah, we'll die for everybody else, but we won't die for our own liberation. We're very hesitant to advocate for our own liberation. We're very hesitant to speak up for ourselves, which will benefit putting our priorities and agenda first. We lack that right now. It's a damn shame. We let a golden opportunity get away with Obama, who was almost spent a decade almost in office. We did not ask anything of Obama. We did not want anything of Obama. But once Obama left the building, we complained that he did not do anything for us. But we did not do anything for us. None of our so-called leaders advocated for anything for black people. Did not come up with a plan for black folks. I'm not with the program of this cult of personality no more. Since we all got this power to be able to be heard, this is now on, the responsibility is now on the people. That's you and I, the grassroots, must advocate for ourselves, must build for ourselves. We got to stop trying to invest in these people, because people are made to let you down. It's just human nature. So we got to invest in ideas and agenda and hold the people that we like so much or love so much accountable, especially when we put them in places and positions of so-called influence and advocacy and power in this so-called system. We got to start going by that instead of trying to, let's get so-and-so in to state representative or governor. I don't care who's in there. I just want to hold these people accountable to make them do what we got to do. They're going to benefit the people. So we need people like that. We don't need all this color personality. I know people are built to believe in things, but let's believe in ourselves. With Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, he advocated for people that did not want his advocacy nor appreciated it. Not saying that, some Palestinians did not appreciate it, but the Palestinians must be able to articulate and advocate for what they need. I see like Palestinians are a lot like black people. I remember I was down in Ferguson covering the Ferguson thing for We All Be News. And I remember like people talking about this story about on Twitter, how the Palestinians was sharing with the black folks techniques on how to survive encounters with gas attacks and the police state. And, really, you think about Palestinians, you see images of Israel, this mighty military supported by the U.S. military industry complex, come rolling with their tanks and guns and their airplanes, their fighter jets, and you got the Palestinians with rocks in their hands throwing at the tanks. That's what Black America is right now. You know, we're just throwing tanks, we're just throwing rocks and cans at the police state, at the apparatus, not really dealing with the real issue. So you got a group of people, the Palestinians and Black Americans, both drowning. We're drowning as a collective because we refuse to learn how to swim. We're drowning because we're waiting for somebody to help us. Instead of us finding a way to survive, we want to drown in our misery. We got to stop that. And it got to be a reprogramming and rebooting of Black minds. Black Americans must learn how to put Black America first. Just like everybody else put their agenda first, LGBTQ, you're going to be with them. You know, you can't be about race. You got to be about their agenda. Women, white women, it's going to be about their agenda. Immigrants going to be about their agenda. But there's no Black first agenda. And our leadership, what we call leadership, are very weak and malleable. They could bend all over the place except for Black people. So with that said, if I get into the meat of this, how can he be anti-Semitic? And he did not had no hatred of Jews in his speech. He was, if you gotta understand, there's a difference between being anti-Semitic and anti-Zionism. I believe Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, I can't speak for the brother, but what he was talking about was Israel's policy towards the Palestinian people. It's very much not about anti-Semitism. It's about being anti-Zionist or Zionism. Look that up. Zionism is another way to say manifest destiny. You know, in Americanese. Americanese is manifest destiny, right? We have a right to control the land and its resources by any means necessary. Malcolm was talking about by any means necessary. It's funny how when people want to quote Malcolm, when they say by any means necessary, I'm talking about Black people, they always got to have a disclaimer. I don't mean like that. That's why we'll never be free, because we don't mean what we say. Once again, one of the reasons why we can't be free or might not ever get free, because we don't mean what we say. Well, Frederick Douglass actually did mean power concedes nothing without a demand. Now, Frederick Douglass, he's an interesting brother to study because he did advocate for Black liberation in this country, but also, you know, he visited Europe, in particular Ireland, for a minute. I mean, for months. You know, he respected the Irish independence movement. He advocated for them, but he never forgot his plight. He made sure that they understood and he articulated well the plight of Black people in America. So yeah, he advocated, he could see similarities in both movements, but you know, he was about Black first. You know, he made sure he advocated for Black people. You know, it's funny with the Irish, you know, Joe Kennedy, the patriarch of the Kennedy clan, I believe he's second generation Irish American. His father was born in America, but his folks came over during a potato famine in Ireland. And so, yeah, you know, the Kennedy family was able to have, you know, the Irish Americans were able to get a president, an Irish Catholic named John Kennedy, elected to office before a Black person was able to get somebody in office, supposedly Black person. But we've been here forever. So Fred Douglass understood why are these people getting ahead and we staying behind. Doesn't matter to advocate for us seriously. So I wish that Dr. Hill, if he was gonna sacrifice himself in his career like that he would have did it for Black folks, because the UN did do a study. They came over here to study America, and the UN agreed that America owed Black people reparations. I wish we had more scholars and advocates and so-called leaders to advocate for Black reparations. So when 2020 come around, the Black reparations should be taken more seriously than it is in 2018. We still got enough time to advocate and to hold people accountable who are going to run for office for 2020 to put this as a part of their agenda. Black folks should not give up Black votes without Black results. Black folks should not give up Black votes without Black results. We should make these politicians who run for office and officials take reparations seriously. The ancestors are here. They want reparations for their people. Black people, we are the spiritual descendants and not blood relatives of Dred Scott. We got to make it right with the Dred Scott generation. We got to make it right. So with that said, what's it, Ron? Are you going to talk about? Well, let's talk about this thing. So let me give an example. So is it anti-Semitic if I want to talk about, if I say that some of the biggest gangsters in American history have been Jewish people, would they be anti-Semitic or would they be true? Some of the biggest gangsters like Siegel, last name was Siegel, Bugsy Siegel, Benjamin Siegel, Meyer Lansky, Louis Lepke Buckhalter, Mo Dalitz, Godfather of Las Vegas, right? Arnold Rothstein, who taught everybody how to organize crime. That's a Jew. I can name all these Jewish gangsters about Mo Segway, Gus Greenbaum. They ran Las Vegas after Bugsy Siegel got knocked off. Mickey Cohen, Bugsy Siegel right-hand man in Los Angeles. These are all Jews. So would that make me anti-Semitic if I, said that, hey, some of the biggest gangsters in organized crime history in America have been Jewish people? No, those are facts. If I said that Jewish people were involved in the American slave trade, would that make me anti-Semitic? No, they're facts. You get this from Jewish scholars and resources that talks about the Jewish people involvement in the slave trade. Charleston Harbor is where a majority of black folks came in through the slave trade. Charleston was a Jewish stronghold. The largest number of Jewish people at one point used to live in Charleston. 83% of the Jewish people in Charleston owned slaves. Look up Mordecai Cohen, who was the wealthiest Jew in South Carolina. He was not only a philanthropist, but a notorious slave owner. I mean, his family tortured black slaves. And this is all documented from Jewish resources. So yeah, even in Alabama. And also the Nation of Islam came out with the book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. And I remember when I was down for the Selma 50th anniversary, I was in Birmingham, outside the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute in the park, right across the street from that, and also across the street from the 16th Street Baptist Church, where they killed them 4 little girls. There's actually 5 little girls got injured. One survived. I believe her name's Sarah Rudolph Collins. But she be forgotten about. That's how they, that's why we gotta, black folks, we gotta start researching our stories, because she's forgotten about. Every time they talk about the 4 little girls, it's 5 little girls, but 1 survived. But I remember I met the Jewish women in the park, and we started talking. And one of the Jewish ladies said, "I bet you're surprised to find Jews in Alabama." I said, "No, ma'am. I know you Jewish people been everywhere. I know y'all everywhere." But I bet she was trying to say that I probably didn't know about the slave history. So people forget that the vice president of the Confederacy was a Jewish guy. Judah P. Benjamin was the vice president of the Confederacy under Jefferson Davis. He married a mulatto Attn woman from Louisiana, New Orleans, whatever. But Judah P. Benjamin escaped to England and became a barrister, the form of a lawyer over there, a barista. But anyway, would that make me anti-Semitic to point these things out? No, I'm telling you truthful things. I'm not telling you hateful things. I'm telling you factual things that might not paint Jewish people in a favorable light, but it's not hateful. So like with Israel's policy, like called the Afro-Synergy, you can look this up. Israel got mad at George Bush because he refused them $13 billion back in the day. This is around the Gulf War time. He refused them $13 billion because, I don't know, whether maybe he didn't like the fact how they treated the Palestinians. But, politics made for strange bedfellows because, Bush's father, Prescott Bush, was a well-known financier for the Nazi Party. That's Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party. But war is a different beast. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about that on the George Bush segment I'm going to do sometime in the near future. But I say all this to say that you got to pick your battles wisely. Dr. Hill could have advocated for black people. Like Sister Yvette Carnell said, he was made by black people. So why not advocate for black folk? Yes, that's another place. Breaking Brown is a good place to find some commentary. All power to the black grassroots media. But if we made you, you should advocate for it. That's what I love about Dick Gregory, Bible Dick Gregory. He knew he had an obligation to black people. he knew that black folks came to the club when he wasn't that funny to support him. And then he became so successful that he was moved downtown, where black folks could not afford to see him. But he knew who he came from. He knew who his first audience was, his support group. So Dick gave back to the black community in his own special way for the rest of his life. But I'm not saying everybody's going to have that type of testitude and forthrightness and integrity to do that. But you got to know which way your bread is buttered. But Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, he came for Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, not when she was alive and breathing, but when she was dead, and spoke ill of the dead. But you know, now it's funny to me, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, like Cat Williams and anybody else, their words are prophetic. What she said back in her day is coming to pass now. And we as black folks still don't get it. We allow Dr. Frances Cress Welsing to be a victim of this system. The Jewish daycare that lived next to it was by our home. The Jewish children's school or whatever it was that helped her lose her peace of mind in her own home because they made so much noise. She couldn't get no peace in her home. This woman did so much for black people and for humanity that she could not even find peace of mind in her home, which may have led to her early death. But we as black people, we so reactionary, emotional. This is like, I went to a memorial service. You know, people say we love Dr. Welsing, we love these people. We don't be there for our people, man. We don't fight for our people. We don't fight for our people. We got this childish notion of how the world works as a people. We don't fight for our people. We don't organize the resources. We don't hold each other accountable. We don't follow through like we should as a collective. We always emotional. Our response is that, well, we could do a rally, we could do a march, we could do some singing some freedom songs, we could forgive our enemy, and all this stuff. This is the best we could do right now. It's pathetic. It's like right now, even as I'm recording this, I'm questioning a lot of things. Like even I was like, man, I don't know. I don't have the same enthusiasm like I used to back in the day. Stuff wears on you, man, because people think that you can just do this. And I love informing my people. I didn't know the price I was paying when I got involved. I really did. But, you know, you soldier on. You're going to have your days. But what I'm saying is, let's be smart about this. The reason why we win, we losing, like, black folks still think that, you know, in order to be successful, you got to be seen on CNN. Like, you know, oh, brother Ron, I know you do your own thing, but when you get on CNN or when you do this and that, man, you'll be big time. And you make your own self big time. You make your own self big time, because it's like the ideas and the potential. I mean, they don't really understand who you are. Like, you don't understand. It's like Bernie Mac. So-called white experts, the people that's in their field, they say, well, Bernie, you like got a large following, but can't people understand? I don't know if people can understand how you talk, because the way you come off. Are you ready for mainstream? And Bernie was ready for mainstream. But there's always a thing about, we can't understand you, black people. We don't understand you. We don't know how to market you. But my thing is, the best way you learn how to market you is to be yourself, and you have confidence in yourself, and you do what you want to do. Because life too short to always doing what they want you to do, what everybody else has planned for you. If you're going to be the martyr, play the martyr. Don't be a martyr because, oh, I just want to. No, get out of that emotion. Let's be strategic about this. And Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, you know, he wasn't strategic. He wasn't thinking. He was thinking with his heart and not with his mind. And matters of the heart will get your ass in trouble time and time again. Divorce court proves this. Prison proves this. Matters of the heart will get your ass in trouble, will get you unemployed, will leave your ass insane. So, where do we go from here? That's a good question. I think it's time now that people start putting themselves in the line of fire in terms of what they want. Don't be looking for another Martin or Malcolm to take the bullet for you, or Megger to take the bullet in the back for you. You got to advocate for what you want. You got to stand on something. You got to be willing to sacrifice something to get something. You know, that's on us as individuals. And now as a collective, we too busy trying to get everybody aboard. I'm not interested. I just want to work with people who want to work with me. And we have something that we can find common ground on. I don't want to hear all this other gossipy stuff anymore. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with people always so this and that. Let's deal with, okay, what is one thing that we all deem important, or that some of us deem important, that we could rally around and get done? Look at the Jews. Look at everybody who got power in this system. They don't get power because they voted. I vote today. Okay, fine. Okay, but are you still unemployed as you vote? Do you have any savings? Can you even afford the gas to go put in your car to vote? To stand there for 8 hours to wait on 3 machines for 5,000 people? See, that's not really power. Power to me is about, let's get together. Let's hear people ideas for a business. Let's say we'll, give this much money to your business, give them time to pay out the loan, and then reinvest in something else. Let's start buying the block back. Let's start, doing that type of stuff. Let's start moving in silence. Stop broadcasting everything on Instagram and Facebook Live and YouTube. Let's start moving like that. Black folks need an Illuminati. Black folks think anything that deal with knowledge is evil. Oh, about knowledge is evil. It must be Illuminati. I said, we need Illuminati. Need to start having some standards and codes. You understand? We invented that stuff, which is funny to me. We talk about Egypt and Kemet and all this stuff, and we afraid of stuff that we created. I mean, I ain't talking about individual, because I wasn't getting a chat. Oh, but I'm not. Okay, fine. I'm talking about overall. I'm just looking at the overall health and condition of Black America today. We have lost our way. We have sacrificed integration for integrity. Lost our way. But Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, I wish him well. Maybe he might land back on his feet, maybe not. But it's like, even with the girl off of MSNBC, the professor, you got a following. You have influence. It's some Black folks still like it. Create your own platform. Create your own media outlet. Advocate. Follow in the footsteps of the ancestors like Frederick Douglass and Ida B. Wells, David Walker. Create your own media platform. You got resources while you can. Push back. Stop groveling and being weak-kneed. Helen Thomas spoke out. Helen Thomas was the first female White House correspondent. She covered 10 presidents, but she was made to step down. Almost, it wasn't 10 years, like a little bit, maybe around 2010 or 2011. She said some controversial stuff about Jewish people, about Israel. She's an Arab American, but Semite. But she basically said that Zionism, they control Hollywood, the White House, and Wall Street. And basically, she said mainstream America fell out of love with her, but she stood by her words. She talked about how it's strange how Arab America or Arab world is looked upon as being anti-Semitic, and she's a Semite. But what about the Israel policy towards the Palestinians? I mean, she was outspoken. She already had a career. She was, she was in the twilight of her years. He said, what the hell with it? And she never backed down. She never apologized. She doubled down on what she said, even in a Playboy interview. And all this stuff is online. But then when she died, I mean, they even took away her scholarship that was named for her, I believe, at Wayne State University of Detroit, her alma mater. I mean, they were trying to erase her from history. And as soon as she died, they got all these pleasantries to say about her. Oh, she was a great woman. She was a trailblazer and pioneer. So like Dr. King, they want you to be stuck on the I Have a Dream speech, but then they don't want you to talk about why I opposed the war in Vietnam the last 5 years of his life. He's hated by the mainstream media, but once he died, he's a saint. So this is what they do to you. So now what they do, instead of killing you, they character assassinate you. They destroy your brand. It's a lynch mob mentality. It's the best way to do it. And they can erase you from history, like they're doing to Alex Jones, trying to erase that he ever existed. But there's ways to fight back. But let's say I want to encourage Dr. Marc Lamont Hill to get strength from the ancestors. Even Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, I mean, he was wrong how he critiqued her, went after her, but that's his opinion. But it's very telling that he waited till she passed, and instead of having a debate or talking with her. I don't know if he spoke with her and talk to her about what he feel about what she said. I mean, but it is what it is. It is what it is now. But think about Paul Robeson, the price he had to pay. Think about William Monroe Trotter, the price he had to pay. People that we should know about, the ancestors that we should revere. We don't even, like I said, we don't really honor the people that sacrifice for us on our behalf. We marginalize them, we forget about them. Then some white Hollywood producer come along or whatever. That's when we start getting interest in these people. Oh, if the white folks think they're good, it must be somebody. Rather than we know who they are, we thank them for their sacrifice. We love our people. We don't think like that. We're being controlled how to even view ourselves. That's why I think it's important that while we have the time, that we seriously start organizing among some of us to benefit all of us. That's how it works in history. It's the minority that creates for the majority. It's like that 80-20 principle. Look that up. But anyway, this is Brother Ron about to sign off. If you like the words from Brother Hurd, please spread the word. And once again, this is the Willie Hortonization of America. Because they always need a black boogeyman. They always need a black boogeyman. And let me just say for word, Zionist quote from Helen Thomas. Go find it. And I'm going to say what she said. She said, I can call a president of the United States anything in the book, but I can't touch Israel, which has Jewish-only roads in the West Bank. No American would tolerate that. White-only roads. We are owned by the propagandists against the Arabs. We are owned by the propagandists against the Arabs. There's no question about that. Congress, the White House, and Hollywood, Wall Street are owned by the Zionists. No question, in my opinion. They put their money where their mouth is. We're being pushed into a wrong direction in every way. Now, to me, that's a profile and courage right there, a moment for Helen Thomas. And she doubled down on that. She doubled down on that. So, something to be learned. She paid the price. And it is what it is. You got to pay a price for what you want. If you want something, be willing to pay the price. So with that said, if you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. Please donate to the We All Be Info movement. You can make a one-time or recurring donation. PayPal, email r2c2h2@gmail.com. Once again, that's r2c2h2@gmail.com. You can send a money order, a check to attention Brother Ron Hurd II, the We All Be Group Incorporated. Make it out to the We All Be Group Incorporated, P.O. Box 752062, Memphis, Tennessee 38175. So in the words of Great Duke Elton, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.